welcome to No Such Thing as a Bad Movie podcast. I'm April Atmansky, and I'm here today with...
Justin DeClue.
And Colin Cunningham.
Is that Colin, or is it...
a dog.
Oh my God, Harrison Ford. Wait, you thought he was doing a dog voice?
At first, I...
It's Harrison Ford, you asshole.
Oh, I'm Colin the talking dog. No, that was Harrison Ford. Sadly, it sounded more like Harrison Ford than a dog.
Oh man, April, you need to make this a regular character on the podcast. Colin the talking dog.
So, guys, we're finally here.
Colin the talking dog.
I can't do like a Scooby-Doo. It's the dog days of summer, you guys.
This is Justin's doing.
Woof, 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 woof.
Welcome to the dog days of summer. So it's summer 2025. I just realized we usually do a commentary track in the summer too, so that's probably going to have to be dog related as well.
Like the Shaggy Dog.
Maybe we'll do a vote or something.
Maybe. I kind of want to do an episode on the Shaggy Dog. I've never seen it.
But like the Tim Allen one?
Yeah, it looks hideous.
You've never seen it? Okay, so
No.
Well, we started and it happened to be my pick, and so I decided to pick The Call of the Wild from 2020, directed by Chris Sanders, starring Harrison Ford. Now, this
Are
movie...
you ready to laugh?
Yeah, are you ready to laugh? That poor dog. So here's what I'll say about this movie. It's not necessarily heralded as a terrible movie, but it was clowned on a lot.
Well, it was clowned on for one specific reason, and that's the fact that, is it Theo Notary is his name?
Terry Notary.
Terry Notary. The mocap man, also seen in the flesh in the square, is played the dog in a mocap suit.
Yeah, and so after we saw the movie, I tried to look up some behind-the-scenes stuff on YouTube, and they were kind of like hiding the fact that he was doing that a little bit. They weren't really featuring that. They were showing all the other like cool special effects, of which they are.
They showed a few quick clips of him, but they never mentioned him.
Yeah, because they knew it's ridiculous. But there was like a Instagram reel flying around because I saw it at the time of Harrison Ford interacting with this man, and it's awkward and weird.
It's so weird.
But yeah, so this movie, it's actually okay. It's pretty good actually, but I will say, the dog looks really, really cartoony. So and
weird.
Also,
it's a huge issue with the movie.
Yeah,
that like it basically kills the movie in some ways.
Kind of.
Every time it cuts to the dog, you're like, oh. No.
Yeah.
And the thing is, it's not bad special effects, but it looks kind of so fake that I can't really... I don't know. It's like I don't even know how to fix it. Like I guess to shoot a real dog.
It's more of like an uncanniness.
What? Don't shoot a real dog.
Oh no.
It's more of like an uncanniness because I think like I was telling April, I'm like, if you just did a freeze frame, this dog looks fantastic. Like all the dogs I think are great. And until they're doing like weird expressions.
Until they're frowning and like or smiling.
About you.
A little bit.
This wasn't quite
There's a lot of
Marmaduke
eyebrow. Well, Marmaduke had real dogs.
But there were like shots that I think I'll say this. Like I think the lighting, the integration, the fur looks phenomenal. I would just say. Like maybe
the dog itself, especially Buck, is
very cartoony.
Yeah,
like his expressions are cartoony.
And also the script. Okay, I haven't read the book, but this dog is like a super intelligent supreme being. You know,
we were calling him like
Superman.
Dog Jesus through the whole movie.
Honestly, this is like a precursor probably to Superdog this summer. What is that dog's name? Crypto. Like you telling me that dog is not going to be doing the types of things that Buck is doing in this movie?
Crypto is.
I thought you were talking about the classic underdog that we all love, right? The Jason Lee, Jim Belushi, Patrick Warburton, Peter Dinklage, Brad Garrett movie.
Oh no!
Did that come out?
Oh, yeah, I'm adding this to the list of movies. Yeah, 2007.
Oh, dear God. But I will say, like, the fact that this came out during COVID also kind of shows that Disney probably, they didn't really believe in it. They just dumped it on streaming. I mean, this absolutely would have been in the theaters if it wasn't during 2020.
Did it just come to, like, Disney Plus?
Yeah. Because it came out, it was all streaming.
Directly to streaming.
There was no...
Oh, no shit.
It was no theater happening at the time.
Yeah.
But it would have not made any money in the theaters, I don't
think so. I will say, though, the person who initially showed me this movie, a 7-year-old girl So I was
I saw your
babysitting my
Letterboxd
niece.
review, April. You didn't even bother to finish watching it.
That was the first time I saw it. We rewatched it last night. But yeah,
I had never seen this. I had no intention of ever seeing this.
anyone
neither. Why would I ever
anyone else
watch
I
it?
have heard who has watched this have only watched it because of the whole Harrison Ford dog thing, and it's just like, I want to see Harrison Ford talk to a CGI dog, and there's a lot of that in this.
Can we take it just a step before we even get into the plot? What's going on with Harrison Ford? Does he have gambling problems that he needs to pay off?
I think it's the type of like, Callisto wants me out of the house.
No, maybe he wants to be away from Callisto.
Or that, yeah.
Have you seen the Halloween costume she makes me wear?
Honestly, I really get that sense because he's been doing these types of roles, as I said, for like what feels like 20 years.
You know what? It's just one of those things. He's been acting. He probably just enjoys it. Like he probably just enjoys the process.
Yeah.
You know what? I'll say that, but I'm looking here, and it looks like he was in the Star Wars movies, Blade Runner,
Where, I just showed up, whatever.
Whatever I was wearing.
He's good in Blade Runner. The second one. I really
Indiana
like it.
Jones.
Yeah. Indiana Jones, and that was, I think, a reaction to him being like, I love being in Indiana Jones. He loves Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
He got to
he loves the character.
revisit that character.
I think
yeah.
that's his favorite.
I hope I
character.
don't get to be in a bad movie.
As far as Blade Runner goes, like, did you get the that's Deckard feeling? Because I didn't really.
No, because it was hard to. Deckard really isn't.
He's not a character.
He's not
much
a
of a-
strong
much of a
character in the first
character,
one,
yeah.
so it's like it's hard to say.
And we all loved him as the Red Hulk, right? I haven't actually seen the movie.
Neither
No,
have I.
I'm not seeing that. But
No.
are you saying that and Call of the Water are the only things he's done? No. He's on like that shrinking TV
Shrinking.
show.
He's really
Yeah.
good on that shrinking show, I
Yeah.
have to say.
Okay,
Yeah, he's
so
having fun.
So I think that I like Harrison Ford a lot, and even though he's been playing this kind of grumpy old man for a while, he's still charming, and you buy the relationship
When he
with him
wants
and this
to be
dog.
sure, and I think like even in the last Indiana Jones, like I think that was his
Pretty good, yeah.
very very strong performance by him.
Yeah, I think he was trying really hard.
Yeah.
And
He was clearly trying, and especially because we watched, I think, Crystal Skull like after that.
Oh, he's so
he's
older
so
in Crystal
bad.
Skull.
Yeah, he's just phoning it in that movie. And you can see what a difference.
The movie itself is really bad, though, so I don't think you can even just say like he's bad in it. I think everything around that movie was just.
I just
not
think his
working.
delivery is just like he has no energy and he just does not want to be there. He's just so bored.
you can.
I
Whereas,
remember
like,
watching
I
that
never
trailer
got
for
that.
Crystal Skull the first time and being like, oh, he seems so old.
Now look at him. Although I will say, he looks old, but he looks pretty
Yeah,
good for his
'cause he is
age.
old.
Like he's like 70 something,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean he's got to be like 77 or something. now.
Yeah. And this was 5 years ago, and
Yeah.
a little earlier. One thing I did think was funny in the behind the scenes that we watched was a clip of him saying like, oh, well, I'm used to acting when things aren't there and pretending because I pretend that there's not a camera there all the time. So this is just normal for me. Cut to him just like in like half a canoe, like in front of a green screen. But he did it.
You know what?
He did it.
I will say this. I don't think they could have made this movie with a real dog and Harrison Ford.
No.
There is no way
I don't want-
Harrison Ford would have been
okay.
patient with a real dog.
I don't want real dogs, real animals to be upset or abused or tired, but you got to admit it looks weird.
But
it doesn't work. I don't think it works for me. It just doesn't work.
Here's the
period.
thing. Here's what you do. And like April's like, well, I don't want to see dogs in peril. It's like, well, I don't want to see humans in peril, so that's why they use
Stunt doubles.
stunt doubles and CGI doubles.
Yeah.
CGI
like,
dog double.
It can be done, and
Yeah.
if you just look at like a frame of the dog, it looks fantastic. Like the fucking
Yeah.
fur and
Like,
lighting is amazing.
I'm sure Colin will say the same thing, is that like, if this was just like 15% real dog,
Yes.
it'd be so much more acceptable
Yeah.
than
Yeah.
it being a CGI non-dog
Yeah.
from the get-go.
So I think all you do is you just have it be a real dog most of the time, and then when you have specific things like
I was gonna say-
anytime it's like a wide shot
But-
or it's in a canoe, CG
Yeah.
dog.
But Buck is doing a lot of stuff.
He's doing face acting, but you don't need
No, I meant the running and jumping on things.
it's fine.
I
You
guess a
just
real
figure
dog
out how to
can do
shoot it.
that,
That's
yeah.
all, or you rewrite around it.
It's like we mastered this in the 80s.
I know, but this is the thing.
we had TV series.
they
where
don't-
Lassie was doing stuff. every
Leaving the cruelty part aside, I think that it just comes down to not laziness, but we can make the dog do whatever we want.
Yes, that's exactly what it is.
Then we don't have to involve a real dog at all. Now they did in the behind the scenes. Hey, we got some mocap of real dogs. Yes, but it's
what is that?
They put the dots on
which
the dogs.
I did think like a lot of the other dogs on the team looks way better because they weren't like goofing around and doing weird things.
Yes, exactly. I would agree with you.
But I think what it comes down to is the director and who they got.
I think they made a good choice.
He made How to Train Your Dragon, Lilo and Stitch.
I know. But what I'm saying is, obviously if you're going to hire an animation director, that's what he's bringing to the table.
Yeah, and this essentially is an animated movie. It's almost like something like Roger Rabbit.
It may as well be.
Yeah. And I'm not saying that's necessarily a bad thing, but like we were saying, like it's hard to kind of take it seriously. It's like halfway between like Roger Rabbit and like the 2019 Lion King.
You know what's funny is that like, and they wouldn't do this if these dogs in this movie were all like cell animated or even like through a computer, but like in a cell animated style, you would have more of an emotional connection than this particular dog in the way that it's portrayed.
Probably.
Yeah.
Although I have to say,
was the Uncanny Valley.
I kind of did like Buck.
You like Buck?
I was emotionally connected to him.
I will say, eventually I was, but at first I'm just like, he just looks so.
It is just a weird vibe, but I think what the movie tries to do is kind of like to meet the animation like halfway, kind of like, okay, we're living in a slightly more stylized world, but not really.
Yes,
it's also like a world where dogs understand English. Dogs can read maps.
Yeah, like literally. Yeah, that French Canadian guy. The French Canadian guy is like showing the dogs. We are going here. We are traveling down here.
Yeah, they're like, Buck, come back before nightfall. And it's like, I don't think the dog understands.
Francois.
He does.
Buck,
he can play a harmonica.
I know. Buck sees that Harrison Ford is drinking too much and then glances over.
Human beings, I think, sometimes put too much faith in dogs. Like, I know a lot of people, like, they get, like, a new puppy, and they're like, oh, I left this sub out. How dare it eat my sub? This, like, 2 week. They've had this dog for 2 weeks.
Well, who would do that? Nope, that's an idiot.
Well, that's an
a lot
example
of dog
from
owners.
real life. So, yeah.
I know what you mean. And a lot of people, they can get very emotionally involved with their pets, and they think that they understand what they're saying.
Yes, which they don't.
Just like the beginning of this movie, where the dog is living on a slave plantation.
Yes, with Bradley Whitford.
I mean, that's clear what's going on. Right?
Yeah, that is clearly like a cotton farm or something.
It's like he's a judge. Bradley Whitford is a judge.
Yeah. But like it's like we put this big meal out. Whatever you do, dog, don't eat it. And it's like, tie up your goddamn dog. Like, what are you doing?
It's a dog.
But this thing is like running through the house. First of all, it is terrorizing everybody in the town. And they all they're all too terrified.
They love him.
They're like, oh my God, it's the judge's dog. We can't do anything. So everyone is so scared. And then it's knocking everything over in the house. It's like jumping on the kid's bed.
He's
and
a little bit of
out.
a Marmaduke. I was getting big Marmaduke vibes at that opening
what I like
scene.
about
I wish Lee Pace was in this movie. Yeah, it is like...
He's like an ancestor of Marmaduke. It's a prequel.
Instead, we got Dan Stevens, who's equally as attractive.
You know what?
Poor Dan Stevens. What is he doing in this movie? Like,
he is barely in this movie.
playing like a sniveling villain.
I remember
twirling his
him
mustache.
being much more of a villainous presence in this movie, and he's kind of only in like 3 or 4 scenes.
Barely in this movie, and poor Karen Gillan is like
I can't believe that was
his
her
sister or something.
Yeah, she's in one scene.
She has like one line, and that's it.
Yeah.
Don't you dare!
I didn't even realize it was her until after.
This feels like a film, considering it's only 100 minutes, which sounds not short. That was gutted at some point, and they removed a lot of stuff.
I feel like that whole subplot with them like hunting for the gold was just like cut out.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't make any sense that Dan Stevens is so like vindictive and like angry.
He really, really hates Buck.
And Harrison Ford.
Yeah,
to the point where he wants to murder him. It's like, wait, what?
It's like, you've got the gold.
It's like we need backstory, and I feel it was just like cut for time, but it's just
I'm glad. I think that they were like, kids movie, it can't be much longer than
Release
90.
the Buck cut. 3
Yeah, the
hours
Buck cut.
long.
It's
I want to see the notary cut.
It's an hour 40.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like
which
Cats.
is a
I just
good-
want to see like the cut without VFX.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Theo Notary did not need to play the dog in this movie.
No.
Like,
100%.
you can ask the people that are actors to act as if a dog was there.
Sure. But I get what
it's a little weird that they did that
when you have physical interaction. So there was a scene at the very end when spoiler, Harrison Ford is dying, and then Buck kind of
Oh yeah, he like weaves in between his arms.
He like puts his head under his arms and stuff.
Yeah.
You can't do that. You need something physical there for the actor to push the actor into,
and it needs to be a grown man pretending to be a dog.
That one, yes, but yeah, I understand what you mean. Like, there's a scene where Buck crawls into the tent that the the male guy is sleeping, and he's there like cuddled up together, and I'm like, oh, is that him cuddling with Terry Notary?
Yeah,
That's funny.
Yes, I understand that you could do it like that, but it's interesting on like Who Framed Roger Rabbit. The way they would do it is like you do a pass where they actually have giant Roger Rabbits, like stiff ones.
It was like a big,
like a stuffy,
like a like a paper mache.
And then it would all be like tricks and stuff like that to have them interact with the world, like wires and puppetry.
You can get away with it when it's a cartoon, though.
Yeah, that's the difference. Buck is supposed to be physically
like
there.
If someone it's like pretend an actor is hold a glass in your hand that's not there. It's very difficult.
Could there be a different design for the dog that it would be more believable? Or is it just like the issue again of like he emotes too much?
That's the type of dog that
I will say
it is. It's supposed to be a gigantic dog.
Spitz, the husky
wolf
dog, it does look better, and
but that's because he's not doing cartoonish like. Ooh?
I mean, he was making some mean faces.
But if you notice all the other dogs, like the background dogs, and also the wolves, don't do that. They don't emote like.
You're right.
Buck
they made
does.
Buck the most emotive.
Yeah.
And that makes sense for the story. I get it.
But I think, to kind of, I don't know if it's just like worse if like anytime Buck's not around Harrison Ford, he like talks to like the other dogs and stuff.
You think maybe the movie would be better?
That would like kind of.
I think that would help the movie, yes.
It would try to tie the styles together,
or just make this entire movie animated,
or if the movie like the world and the costumes and stuff were just more heightened.
Yeah.
And
hey, Colin, what would he say? What I like about you.
No, he'd say like, he'd go, wild thing.
No, he'd go,
of the wild thing.
Oh, have you guys ever seen that movie, Beverly Hills Chihuahua?
Oh, God, no.
No, I've never seen it. Maybe it should be on the podcast.
Oh, God.
But yeah, I agree. And it's tough because there's actually a lot of beautiful VFX work and cinematography, even though this is essentially I was like I think almost every shot in this is a VFX shot except for maybe a couple of Harrison Ford like writing the note in the tent.
Yeah, I think background like
all the backgrounds,
well, not all the far background stuff, and some cases like the rapid scene was like insane. Like I looked at the making of.
Yeah.
It was like, holy shit.
Well, I could tell that the human was a CGI double as well, but very,
like
very well
like
done.
The water and all that kind of crap.
It is a very good looking movie. It's just you have this kind of cartoon dog interacting with this very not cartoon Harrison Ford for the most part.
But who's the DOP? I couldn't believe who it was. It was Spielberg's guy.
Janusz.
Ugh, I hate that guy.
But like I couldn't believe I'm like, holy shit, this is not his style at all. Like visually.
It doesn't have that like bloom on it that he loves so much.
It actually looks like lush and green and colorful and like, beautiful.
I will say this is actually quite timely because didn't Chris Sanders do the new How to Train Your Dragon?
He did not. The other director of How to Train Your Dragon did it. Yeah, he's never made a live action feature film before. Dean DeBois.
Oh, they should have got Chris Sanders because that's like that I haven't seen it. Obviously, it hasn't come out, but that seems like this. I mean,
he's
like
I've done it. It didn't work.
Exactly.
I don't want to do it
Why
again.
would you want to do like another movie, like to remake your own movie?
And also, Chris Sanders did The Wild Robot, which is an animated movie, not perfect, but I really liked it, and it has a lot of similarities to this movie in setting, tone, music, the animals. It's like this was almost like a training ground for what would later become The Wild Robot.
Yeah, I kind of like. I didn't really like The Wild Robot, but visually beautiful.
I think that this movie, like you were saying, Justin, is almost kind of not a failure, but I think that it shows that Chris Sanders is a better animation director. He's done some amazing animated movies. And this How to Train Your Dragon thing, it's like I know they just want to make money, but it's just going to be pretty much mostly CG shots just with some humans in it. You know what I mean? It's like, it's not going to be a completely like non-CGI like live action. Like, it's live action in quotes because it's like, wow, how did they get those real dragons in there, right? They found real dragons to be in their movie.
Well, yeah, that's the thing, right? There's no well, the only kind of uncanny valley will be you're watching a movie that you're like, I've seen this already.
Yeah.
Like, why am I seeing it in this version again? So,
it's just gonna be a worse version, i.e., like Lion King.
Like, I haven't seen How to Train Your Dragon, but I've seen certain scenes of it, and it's just like they're like shot for shot in the.
They're shot for shot.
It's just like, what the?
Except, like, one of the weirdest things is that, like, one of the very successful elements of How to Train Your Dragon is that Canada's own Jay Baruchel is the main guy. So he's like this nerdy kind of like outsider in a way you'd understand just from the voice, and like the guy in the new movie is just some bland nobody.
Let's get a guy who doesn't stick out and is just like a kind of like a Tom Holland almost, like, you know, regular dude.
You know what? Maybe I'll turn around. It's like How to Train Your Dragon. Wow, they really got me. It's so much different than you expected.
I highly doubt that.
I doubt that.
I'm going to see it though, just out of curiosity.
Well, it's going to make $1 million or like so much money because it's new. That's what I mean. This is what the companies are realizing, right? Like, no one wants a new Snow White film. There's not enough nostalgia baked into it. If you do nostalgia to people from 20, 15 years ago,
exactly,
that's where it's at.
Everyone who has nostalgia for Snow White is long dead. That is a good point. One last thing about Chris Sanders. He directed Leo, Lo, and Stitch.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is he involved in the new one?
I don't know.
No, not at all.
I think
actually, he did do the voice of Stitch.
Yeah, he voiced.
So that's funny that there's two like live action versions of movies that he did, and they're both in theaters this year.
Yeah.
That's weird.
I thought you were going to say, one last thing about Chris Sanders. Do you know he likes to draw, like, very shapely women? That's something he's actually famous for.
Oh, really?
Well, I mean, I never saw Lilo and Stitch, but I mean, it was famous for having, like, you know, women that are not, like, sticks. Like, they actually have, like, hips, you know?
Yep. If you look at his art, that's like all it is on his website and stuff.
Well, we saw the behind-the-scenes stuff. The guy's ripped. Got big.
Oh, Chris Sanders?
Yeah, he's like directing in like tank top.
He's a little shapely himself.
Got some
He had. Did you remember that? He had like some like anime hot girl with boobs on his T-shirt, like in like the behind the scenes for Call of the Call of the
Probably
Wild.
drew it himself too.
But yeah, do we want to go through the plot of this movie?
Yeah, because we got nothing else. Hold on one second.
Hang on. Did anyone read the novel?
No. You know what? I'm sure I did in school. It was a Jack London novel. It was like from 1903.
They weren't making us read it.
No.
But
all I remember is instead of like just fighting, what was the lead dog's name? Spitz. He kills him in the book.
It sounds about right. Yeah, that sounds like the type of thing that they would cut out of the movie.
But I just like love how like benevolent Buck is when he like captures the rabbit and no, I'm gonna let you go.
Oh my god!
But
scene.
Birds, everybody hates birds, right? You can kill them left and right.
Yeah, he kills a pheasant later on.
Yeah.
Sure. Harrison Ford's laughing, dead
The pheasants like, my family, who will feed them?
Yeah. Harrison Ford's like, ha ha ha, good one, Buck.
Where am I? I don't know what movie. Am I a Hulk?
Oh, god damn it.
Okay, so should we go through a little bit of the plot?
Yeah,
we already talked about how he started off on the plantation. He's a bit of the toast of the town. I'm getting the sense that he was maybe like 1 at that point.
I would say a terror of the town.
Yeah, toast of the town is like, we love Buck.
Oh, so they don't.
It's
the
like
town didn't
like
love Buck.
No, they don't like him.
Yeah, it's like the kid from the Twilight Zone episode where everyone has to. Oh, he's the greatest kid in the world, isn't he? Everybody.
He's a cute dog though, but yeah, he's kind of going around stealing food and stuff. And yeah, a guy who is an evil dog catcher is like...
I love this guy. He's just like, wait, they'll pay money for dogs? Well, I'm going to capture a dog.
I know, but I thought the idea was they were like, oh, this dog, like, they pay by the pound or something like that. I don't know.
Well, they're not eating it, but...
No, but like...
That's the biggest dog I've ever seen, Clifford.
Exactly. It's like, why Buck is my question.
Well, because, like, okay, so Harrison Ford explains in the narration at the beginning And we were like,
spoiler alert, we were getting heaven.
We were getting flashbacks to the Blade Runner narration. April's like, ooh, geez.
Yeah, he doesn't know what he's
when he doesn't want to do something.
He's got a lovely voice, but he's very checked out in that narration.
He have a lovely voice?
And what's really funny is that, so is he omnipresent in this situation?
I guess so.
I thought.
And then Buck was very hungry, I guess.
Because Buck, I guess, told him all this stuff.
In heaven.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, but I thought that maybe it would turn out to be
Kevin
that,
James.
like, he wrote a book about Buck.
You would
but
think.
No, he just doesn't.
No, so you don't know that. But it's like the gold rush into the Yukon, and basically they
Canadian
need,
movie, you guys.
Yeah, they need strong packed or sled
dogs. Yeah.
So the stronger the better. So they pay money. People pay money for, which doesn't make sense because later on the like bunch of dogs that
they're
like,
not super big.
Yeah,
one of them is
like
a golden retriever, and
the
another
one that,
looks like a puppy.
Yeah, the group of dogs that like Buck ends up with, they look like this motley crew of like one's like a dachshund, I'm pretty sure. And
Yeah,
like,
one is a huge hog.
Yeah.
They're not.
He said it was a motley crew.
Yeah. Very, very nice. No, they're not. They're all like different breeds. Like not like comically so, but like they don't look like the type of dogs that would be sled dogs. But I don't know.
Well, you'd think like huskies or something, or whatever.
I'm not an expert on dogs. Maybe I will be by the end of the summer. But
oh yeah, maybe you're gonna be like cats drool, dogs rule by the end. Of the summer.
You're gonna be like dogs talk.
Yeah, but
that's
like,
all you're gonna learn.
Wait,
at the
so
end of
she's
the
like
summer.
she's lost her mind by the end.
But like
of the summer?
this is like supposed to be like the turn of the century. Were there that many dog breeds? Distinct dog breeds by that time.
Oh, sure. I mean,
by the early 1900s.
This was 1900s.
When do you think dogs were created?
They've like been around for thousands of
years.
Yeah, but that all of the because we created all of these breeds.
Well, yeah, but
essentially through crossbreeding and breeding traits out in and out and stuff.
No, but you can look back like hundreds and hundreds of years in like paintings. That show like dogs,
different,
like specific
dog
breeds and how they used to look way back when.
Yeah,
we modernized them into like nightmares, like
generally, yeah.
French bulldogs,
pugs, and French bulldogs.
Yeah, when I say nightmares, I mean like they look very cute and they're very affectionate, but they're also like, why am I alive?
Yeah,
they're
like the bio-cops of dogs. Like they cannot breathe.
Yeah, but yeah, so Buck ends up in a sled dog. Well, there's a really kind of sad scene where he's like in a box for Lord knows how long.
Yeah, he gets kidnapped and then...
And I feel like this was taken from a different movie where he thinks he's going to escape. Oh no, I'm on a boat?
Oh,
Is that not from some other movie?
Like,
I feel like I've seen that before, only with a human.
The I'm on a boat music video?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, yeah, and then he kind of learns the guy has like a club and stuff like that.
Obviously, he's scared of being clubbed. He gets clubbed. So this might be a qualifier for all of the movies we do. Did April cry? Did not cry during this movie, but it was because I had seen it before. And I
had already cried.
I had my emotional guard up, and B, he just looks too cartoony. But cartoony is not necessarily a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing. I would have cried if like CGI Marmaduke died.
Yeah, but it's the thing. I felt a little sad when poor Buck gets beaten by this evil dog catcher guy.
I gotta say, throughout, it's like
I felt really bad.
Once you kind of get used to it, it's like fine. But like I always feel kind of emotional over dog.
Honestly, I almost like cried when he like catches that rabbit and then lets it go, and then the rabbit is like, "Oh, really?"
You were like,
so
she was making fun of it so hard. You're like,
because
what is he? Just like a dog? Jesus! Oh, he's just so benevolent.
Because I was
look at him.
I was
being
protesting.
Controlled by food.
I was protesting. I was protesting so much, so I didn't cry.
Yeah.
Oh,
You know
she was putting her guard up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because April was.
It was like, but she's actually got a heart of gold.
I was clowning on it.
Buck is just the best of all of us, isn't he? He's just.
He's basically Jesus.
Look how beautiful he is. I'm so dumb.
I gotta go to the bathroom again.
I'm not only that. Poor Harrison Ford. He's got a dead son. He's estranged from his divorced from his wife. He's pretty sad too. In this movie.
He's like he's
an alcoholic,
sad, miserable. Well, not until he meets Buck, because Buck
cleans him up.
Buck is dog Jesus. He gets him off the sauce.
Just by giving him a sad, dead-eyed look, like he's from the Polar Express, and he's like, "Ugh."
Yeah,
but he does.
But he meets Buck in this first scene when he arrives at the town.
Bring him. But actually, I kind of liked the scene because they bring him to the Yukon, and it's just like Buck's first time seeing snow.
Oh,
and it's
yeah.
It's totally what a dog. I love the way he's animated. If you've ever put booties on a dog for winter and you watch them try to walk, it's really funny.
They lift their legs up and down awkwardly,
and then they do the back leg and they kind of crank it to try to get the shoe off and stuff like that.
So
there's some well observed animation.
Exactly. So if I'm gonna compare this movie to a movie I absolutely cannot watch again because I'll cry my eyes out, Flow. So Flow had a lot of that kind of stuff. The cat sees a light, and it's chasing it and there were dogs and different animals acting, the monkey or lemur, animals acting like animals, and like you said, very well observed stuff. That really got me. And that scene was like that, but there was less of that in this. This is more like Buck acting like a person.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Didn't people tell you not to watch Flow, and you said you weren't going to?
I had to watch
it.
Why? Because it was probably going to win an Oscar for Best Animated Movie.
I didn't know how
did.
sad it was going to be. But
I knew.
I thought everybody told April, don't watch it.
I knew it was going to be sad, but I had to. Honestly, it wasn't even the animal stuff that got me. It was the post-apocalyptic stuff that really got to me.
Well, yeah.
I thought you were going to say, I can't watch 8 Below, the classic Frank Marshall, Paul Walker, Jason Biggs.
I can't watch Snow Dogs.
8 Below was recommended to me after this ended.
Snow Dogs? Oh, yeah, that's
Snow
what I was
Dogs.
thinking of. Not 8 Below.
8 Below.
I was thinking of the Cuba Gooding Jr. one.
Yeah, I remember.
8 Below's the Paul Walker one.
That was the first time I ever in a movie theater. I think it was after Cuba Gooding Jr. won an Oscar.
Yes,
and
you
then
saw Snow Dogs?
No, it was just a trailer when we were seeing another movie, and everyone in the theater just lost their minds laughing because it was the first time I'd heard "Who let the dogs out?" in a trailer.
Oh boy!
Wait, wait. That cannot be the first time
I can't
heard Who Let the Dogs Out
I
in
can't
a theater.
remember anything.
In 2002.
The funny thing is that
It could have
song
been.
was used probably during every
Every
dog.
dog
Yeah,
movie.
you know what? Okay, so 2000, Who Let the Dogs Out came out. That feels like such a 90s song.
The Baja Men. No, it was right on that cusp.
Right, 2000, yeah. But everything has Who Let the Dogs Out in it.
Yeah. Who let the dogs out?
And it was
have we been doing this? Oh, sorry. Continue.
Sorry, I think one of the dogs at the end of the trailer does a roar,
do his eyes go like?
I think so.
I believe either Snow Dogs or 8 Below. I think it was Snow Dogs. The trailer pulled a Kangaroo Jack that made you believe the dogs talk and they don't.
Well, later there was a movie called Snow Buddies. Is that?
Yeah, well, that's part of the Air Bud universe.
Okay, that's part of Air Bud. Okay,
Not to be confused with
the ABCU.
Doing this episode, I've been adding movies to the dog list. Show Dogs from 2018.
Oh
now,
no!
The Will
Arnett.
With Will Arnett. Yeah, you've mentioned
you mentioned it
the
many times.
unfortunate thing that had to be.
Change the ending.
Yeah. So I mean, there's lots of potentials, but is it kind of funny that this is the first one to start us off, considering all the potentially really bad movies?
This is a semi-classy one.
This is a somewhat good movie. I'm sure that when this came out, this probably made the rounds of the Bad Movie Podcast. Also, again,
I don't think so.
Quarantine.
No.
This is
No,
such
I
a
don't think so,
quarantine
yeah.
movie.
It shouldn't have
I
been.
bet you this was on Flophouse.
I don't know.
I'm gonna guess.
No,
but
this is a good. I would say this is a well executed. It's a good movie.
it has
You know
a
what?
50
It
years.
was
bad
on the
movie.
Flophouse. April is right.
Yeah.
Oh.
This has a 60% or something on Rotten Tomatoes. But again, I think that the thing about this movie is people have either forgotten it or they're just cartoon Harrison Ford movie, with a man
I don't know.
standing
This
in
is
for a dog.
absolutely a movie that will disappear from Disney Plus.
It could be, yeah.
Yeah, and no one's gonna be, huh? What? Yeah, I guess that was on there.
I think I actually watched this on Netflix, and it was last year.
I don't think
Sometimes
so.
things make the rounds. I thought it was. I'm gonna have to ask my 7-year-old niece.
Oh yeah.
Hey,
Ask
what
her
streaming
now. Hey, you.
service did we watch this on?
Oh, it's Disney Plus.
25 years old.
But also, this got me thinking of probably the more forgotten dog movie, Togo. They came out like
What's
around the
Togo?
same time, and it was Willem Dafoe and a dog.
Wasn't that also on Disney Plus?
That's also a Disney movie. Yeah.
Like that's the one that people really don't.
This was
remember.
People like that one though. I'm looking.
This
here.
used to be Disney's bread and butter. Was like animal
absolutely.
movies.
And,
Togo. That's all I remember from the trailer. Togo.
He probably doesn't even say that, and that's just in your brain.
And let's look here. It looks like it's mostly a real dog in the movie.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought that was that's what makes it different. I bet you. I don't know. I kind of wouldn't mind watching that. But anyway, so what's happening in the world of Buck? Well, he joins a sled team of a couple whose job it is to deliver mail.
Yeah, Francoise, and I forget the other guy's name. They're part of they're French Canadian.
Oh yeah, Francoise is the woman.
Yes. So
I forget the guy's name. Yeah,
They deliver mail. So he joins like a sled team and
led by a kind of a mean alpha.
Spitz. He's
Husky.
kind of like a husky looking dude. But then like the lead, the guy who runs it, I forget his name again, sorry. But he's like going over the map with the dogs. You were in the bathroom and I was laughing so hard because he's like, okay.
He's showing the dogs the route.
We go down here. Then we
Yeah.
turn this. Then we go down here. Then we have to make a delivery, blah, blah, blah.
He's a French Canadian.
Yes.
Not the actor. I think
Wow.
the
In the
actor's
movie,
yeah,
not in
not in
real
in real
life.
life. He's from France.
From France.
But yeah, like I do like this section. It's when Buck becomes like a working dog, and he learns the value of being part of a team and kind of working towards a goal. And I enjoyed the scenes where they're going over the kind of like frozen lake, and he's like slipping all over the place because he doesn't know what he's doing. He's a bit of he's a huge klutz, as we saw in the opening scene. And,
yeah, he doesn't know how to lead yet, but
well, he doesn't know how to even. He doesn't know how to do anything. Yeah.
So I kind of like these scenes, and I do like just the delivery scenes when they go through the town and they give them like the mail and everybody.
It was cute.
I think it's very cartoony. I think the movie needs to be more of that. I think.
I would say the most effective parts is this section before Harrison Ford, where he's like learning to work with the dog pack. He has conflict with the Fitz, the wolf dog.
It's the most cartoony, but it's not necessarily a bad way because like the dogs are like kind of interacting with each other in funny ways. Like, Spitz like takes a fish from one of the dogs, and then Buck, because he's better than all of us, he goes up and he gives him his fish. And,
and then
they're all like reacting to it.
Spitz is like drinking out of the water hole in the ice, and then they're all waiting behind him for their turn. But then like Buck goes and like knocks another hole, and they all like crowd around him.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like really cute stuff like that, and I really kind of enjoy that section.
Yeah.
Do you think Buck, after he got all the power, it went to his head?
He becomes like a tyrant.
He's humble.
Yeah, like a tyrant. He's like, ah.
Well, like it is kind of like let's talk about. Okay, so let's.
We
talk
need to
about,
have tax cuts for the richer dogs, and the poorer dogs need to get off that insurance money we keep giving.
What did you say about me, dog?
So he's just Donald Trump.
What? No. What are you talking about?
It's Buck.
What are you talking
As opposed
about?
to me.
My name's
I'm
not
calling
Don't
the
call
talking
me
dog.
Taco. I mean Bucko.
What's funny is that Buck very pointedly loses his collar from his house, but the dog catcher just knows his name is Buck, so he tells whoever buys
like
him,
a Buck.
"That's Buck." Whereas, like in a normal world, like they would just be like, "Oh, come here." Beethoven.
No, I think
they would
okay.
read.
And that's how Beethoven was
He's
born.
a Saint
All right,
Bernard.
adding
I think
another
the
one to
name-
the list.
I think the name is passed along, so the guy who kidnaps
is.
him knows that it's
Well,
Buck.
exactly, but I'm just
He
saying.
tells
why?
the other guy that it's Buck.
Why would he tell him that?
He tells the other guy that brings him to Yukon that his name is Buck, and then when he interacts with Harrison Ford, he's like, "Hey, come here, Buck," and then he's like,
Harrison Ford.
"Oh, his name is Buck."
Practically holds out his
Thanks,
hand
Buck.
and shakes his hand. I will say, well, maybe he did that because this dog catcher is like, well, this dog knows his name, so at least he'll answer to Buck. I guess that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, so I think they
Yeah.
all pass his name along, so
Yeah.
everybody knows that it's Buck.
This movie has
loves to.
This movie has a lot in common with a movie from the 90s that I happen to like a lot, also very, very sad, called Black Beauty, which had Alan Cumming doing the voice of the horse.
Black Beauty?
Yes. And it's
wait.
similar.
In Black Beauty, the horse talks?
It's an inner monologue.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Hello, I'm Black Beauty.
Yeah.
I'm Black Beauty. I am invincible.
He's doing the kind of like a Harrison Ford narration, and he talks about other horses, but the other horses don't talk back.
That's so weird that there's an inner. I've never seen the movie, so
I grew up with and this is a very 90s movie. Horses in peril, horses in fires,
and
horses,
they're real horses.
They're real horses, yeah. Going over flooded bridges, horses getting sick, horses dying.
We can do it with real animals. You don't need CG stuff.
I know,
there
but
was only one dog movie in my life, and that was in the 90s, Homeward Bound.
Oh. Yeah, I was
very
a big
sad movie at the end.
All I ever think about is how the cat almost drowns.
Oh man,
she's okay though, voiced by Rosie O'Donnell.
Well, Rosie O'Donnell's
Roseanne?
okay.
Actually, I think it's Roseanne.
I don't know.
But yeah, Black
Homeward
Beauty.
Bound, Incredible Journey.
How many casts did they go through?
Isn't it Sally Fields?
Oh my God, maybe I'm.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm.
Oh, classic mistake. We get Roseanne, Sally Fields.
Was I thinking of Look Who's Talking too?
Yeah, I think you're thinking of Look Who's Talking. You're confusing the dog and the baby.
I think it was. Hey, it's a similar conceit. Where all these like talking. Yeah, it's an inner monologue. There's no mouth moving.
That is not true. In the Look Who's Talking, the second one, there are mouse movements.
What?
What are you talking about?
The babies.
What?
The babies?
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
Wait, what year was it?
Early 90s.
So they would have been getting into that in like CG?
I remember liking Look Who's Talking Now, the dog version of the Look Who's Talking movies.
How many were there?
We could do that on this podcast.
God, I saw those in the theater, the first two.
Well, if we want
fine.
to do them, we can only do Look Who's Talking 2.
No, now.
No, now. Yeah, that's right. Because
Yeah.
that's the dog one.
Okay.
Yeah. That's
Who voices the dog? It's someone really funny.
It's Danny DeVito.
It should be Abe Vigoda.
Yeah, because the babies are. What, John Travolta and Christy Allen are back, and Look Who's Talking now.
Oh yeah, it's about their family.
They
and
weren't
get
doing
two dogs
anything
that
back in
talk.
those. This is like pre-Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
So like John Travolta was.
He's desperate.
He was like on
He's
Skid Row.
desperate.
And he plays a pilot.
Looks like.
Yeah, it looks like.
He plays a pilot just like the real John Travolta.
Yeah, of course. We can use my plane.
Look Who's Talking Now is a Christmas movie. I'm just watching the trailer
Yes.
right now.
I watched this movie a lot. It's weird.
Wait,
but it's fun.
So who voiced Puchinsky again?
Oh, Peter Boyle.
Oh
yeah,
Peter
we're gonna do a
Boyle.
special. We should do
Yeah,
a
that
Puchinsky,
should be a
Patreon.
Patreon.
Yeah.
Puchinsky.
But anyway, going back to the whole Black Beauty thing, the point is he went through different owners that gave him different names throughout the years.
Oh,
And
he was
I
like
thought
a war horse.
Yeah, I thought that. Oh, okay. I thought that maybe that was going to happen with Buck, but no, he's just always Buck.
Or Au hasard Balthazar, the classic French film. Huh? We all know that one.
Was that
right?
the
It's a
original war horse?
No, it's a donkey that gets like passed around. It's very sad.
Oh, wasn't that EO?
No, well, that was inspired by the Robert Bresson
Oh,
movie.
that's a movie that sounds too sad for me to watch.
Oh, I don't want to see a sad animal.
EO or whatever this French thing you're talking
I mean,
about.
it ends with that poor donkey meeting Randall at the movie mart, Clerks 2, where they have sex with the donkey.
No.
I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with
You
that
should
movie.
see the sequel. He gets promoted to Captain EO.
Captain
Hey!
EO. Oh no, but look who ship he's on. Uh-oh.
I don't understand.
Captain EO was a
Wasn't-
ride that was directed by Francis Ford Coppola at Disney World that starred Michael Jackson.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm getting it. But yeah, so after Buck is a mail carrier, and there's a very funny scene after I mentioned how he was chasing a rabbit, and he's so benevolent he lets the rabbit go.
Spitz
has had enough.
He kills the rabbit.
So yeah, and under the backdrop of the Aurora Borealis, this might be my favorite scene in the movie.
Actually, it's really
because it's
good.
so dramatic.
But it looks like, and this is one of the scenes where you're just like, why isn't this an animated movie?
Yeah, like
it just
fully
looks
animated.
so like
Because it is in the essential, it is animated.
yeah, and it looks really beautiful. You know, it's all 100% CG.
Yeah, you're right. I can like see like the 2D version,
Yeah.
like 90s Disney version of this in my head.
In the Chris Sanders style.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
I guess it would kind of be like Spirit.
The horse movie.
the spirit of the was it
or Brother Bear.
Stallion of the
I know he didn't
Cimarron
do
or
Brother.
something?
Yeah.
Do you know they made a long gap sequel to that?
What?
I believe
Spirit?
released theatrically? Yeah.
I know they had a TV show on Netflix. I think that is like very high regarded. People love it.
Spirit
Yeah.
Untamed came out in 2021.
That is bizarre.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I never saw that one, nor did I see Brother Bear.
Well, there is that one shot. Okay, so it's like when Spitz, I think, like defeats Buck,
Yeah.
and then you just see his shadow like encroaching on the other dogs.
Oh.
Like it's creeping up, and I turned to you and I was like, "Wow, this is very like 2D animation."
Yeah, you can tell
yeah,
he
it
has
just
a background.
Had
in
this
that.
like really sharp like shadow, and it just like it's like all the other dogs are kind of cowering.
Is it like Nosferatu? Like
Yeah.
but there's a great scene where Buck comes back and he essentially does a wrestling move on Spitz, and he does
Yeah,
he like
does-
lifts him
he
up
does
in
like
the
a-
air
like
and
a
does like a
body
body
slam.
slam.
It's great.
It's so dramatic. It's ridiculous. But it is cute.
And then Spitz is he just like wanders off
Honestly,
into the wilderness.
that makes me even sadder than if he had killed him. The fact that he is like so upset that Spitz is now
He's broken.
he's been defeated. He's like
You think like Spitz
he's
hung
so
himself?
he's yes
Yeah.
he's so shamed. Animals being emotional is tough pill for me to swallow.
I know,
because
but
they
they're
don't
not-
feel they don't in real life they don't feel those emotions.
No.
Well, they don't
well,
feel
maybe they
shame.
do. You just don't see them.
They don't feel
because their
shame.
eyes don't go like, ooh.
They do feel shame. Remember, any one of our cats is like walking and they accidentally like trip and stumble, and then they act like it
That's
didn't. They act like it didn't
embarrassment,
happen.
That's embarrassing. That's not shame.
It's not shame, I guess. They pretend all nonchalant, like I didn't. Just
Like that
trip.
one time our cat lost all that money on gambling and then was really repentant about it. That's shame.
Yeah.
That's shame.
That's shame.
It's not the cat's money. It doesn't care.
Yeah, but like anyway, so like fucking Buck becomes like a mail delivery dog. He takes
becomes
over the
leader
pack.
of the pack.
He's like the fastest mail delivery dog, and
He's
like,
the best anyone's ever seen.
anyone's ever seen. And then Harrison Ford has this like sad letter that he's writing to like his wife, I think.
So it's the anniversary of their dead son's. It's his birthday.
I think so.
And then he's kind of late to deliver the letter to the sled because they're like, we're taking off. We got to make a deadline. And poor Harrison Ford has this line where he's like,
That's my son's birthday.
I had to take some time to find the words. Find the words.
But they're being very mean to him.
Oh yeah, they're like, get out of here, old man! Like you're late. And then Buck is like, Buck is the one who takes the letter.
All you have to do is just put it in the bag.
Yeah, no, they're like, fuck you, buddy. Like,
So, like, does Buck understand the concept of mail and what he's doing?
Yes. Well, apparently in this movie he does.
he's
He
super
understands a
intelligent.
lot of things.
Super intelligent.
What if the movie ended with Buck being the one that was narrating the movie? And, like, there's a paw, and it's like writing out with like a quill pen.
Yeah, that would be so funny.
You saying it's just a paw with a quill? Like the end of like the Lord of the Rings or something?
And that's the
And
end
that's the end
of the
of that.
first chapter. And then like the book closes, and it's like Buck wearing little glasses.
So he's
and,
like smoking
talking to-
he's like smoking a pipe in front of a fireplace.
Yeah.
Oh, I would love that.
But yeah, this movie is slightly episodic, and we're actually about to get into this very small kind of second act before he is Harrison Ford's companion. So this is where the brief period where they have to sell the sled dog team because according to the guy who runs the sled, the Telegraph has put him out of business. So they're like,
Yeah,
you're fired,
they're
go back
closing-
to Quebec.
So
They're
they just
closing
said-
their routes? What is this?
Yeah, they
The
just said-
Canadian government against Canada Post?
Yeah, it's very timely for us right now.
It is interesting seeing the Hudson's Bay Company blanket show up.
Speaking of
multiple
which,
times in the movie
the Hudson's
with
Bay Company just shut down
I
in
know.
Canada.
That's
Oh my
heartbreaking.
God.
I
They,
mean,
When
they,
was
they,
the last time you went to a Hudson Bay company?
I go there at Christmas sometimes to buy Christmas presents for people.
I used to shop on there all the time because you could always get good sales on clothes.
I do feel sad that it's like closing because like they've been around since like the fur trapping days.
Like literally.
Wait,
since
what's
the-
going to happen to the big store at the Eaton Center? Is it
They're
going
all
to turn
gone.
into another
It's
Uniqlo?
probably just going to be like an extension of like the Saks Fifth Avenue that's there already, or Nordstrom or whatever. Just another American, department store. Yeah.
And I don't want to insult Uniqlo. I love myself some Uniqlo.
Actually, Uniqlo makes good stuff. But yeah,
this episode brought to you by Uniqlo. I wish.
We got to get Dan Stevens in this movie. So
yeah, and out. He's gone in like 5 minutes.
He shows up and he's taking a couple apparently to where he thinks the gold rush is, but they have like this gigantic sled of like luggage.
Rich.
And it did make me really sad.
It's Karen Gillan and some other dude.
It did make, he's probably somebody, who knows. It did make me really sad to see the animals like struggling to lift this like really heavy thing, and they're like sweating and like,
But Harrison Ford comes out and he warns them. He's like,
he's like, hey, don't do this.
The ice is like thawing, so like just wait till spring has like finally come. It'll be safer because these things are going to take you across the ice until they die.
Yeah,
and then you're all going to die.
And they don't make it very far. And Harrison Ford comes and saves Buck after like Dan Stevens is like trying to like beat these dogs. It's we're going to probably see this a lot this summer. Evil people beating dogs and thinking that is going to get them.
What movies are we picking?
Yeah, because every dog movie has like an evil dog catcher.
In Air Bud's 7th inning fetch.
Okay. I hope not.
I'm crossing off dog beater.
I mean, I hate to say this, but there are people out there who abuse dogs. Yes. And they think that it's like that with all kinds of animals, horses too, like we were just talking about. And later, like Dan Stevens, he pulls out the whip. Let's just whip them, and then
you feel bad for these dogs. But then Harrison Ford comes out with like a gun. And he's like, "I'll fucking kill you, asshole."
Yeah.
And he kind of like cuts Buck loose because Buck is exhausted. The others continue on, and then you never see them again.
No, but thankfully we hear they're okay.
What?
They ran away. That's what we hear. Later when we ran into Dan Stevens in the pub, he says they deserted us. So they just cut tail and ran away.
Okay.
So they're fine. They're living in the forest. That's all I need. And yeah, I will say there's some rough stuff in this movie, including the scene we just mentioned. There's no like dog death or anything like that.
No.
There's no
human death.
There is a really great human death later, but we'll get to it. But yeah, so. And then at this point, Buck sleeps for 2 days, like he's going through some shit. I'm surprised we didn't see his nightmares.
Yeah, it's like he's coming off of like heroin or something.
Yeah. In Harrison Ford's little shack, which is kind of like a tent house, like the roof is like a canvas
probably
tent.
like a prospector's like tent that
you
can like put up. But whatever. So he goes to live with Harrison Ford. They become best friends.
He gets Harrison Ford off whiskey.
Okay, so this scene, Justin.
What did you think about Harrison Ford abusing alcohol?
I mean, it's disgusting. It shouldn't be shown on screen. Alcohol consumption should be removed, along with smoking and any kind of sexual inappropriate. I can't say the word.
That does happen after.
I'm so angry.
That does happen after the pub scene in town, because he goes to buy a bottle of whiskey, and then Dan Stevens shows up, and he, as Harrison Ford says, sucker punches him, and then everyone's like, "Whoa!" And then Hawk from Twin Peaks shows up.
Yep, I was happy to see him.
I was like, "What the hell?"
One line, like, again, was something cut? Like, how do you get this man and then give him absolutely nothing to do?
Yeah.
Like.
But it was good. Twin Peaks act a lot after.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, he was in The Return, but I believe he did. No, I think he was in stuff.
I don't know.
I looked him up on IMDb when we watched it. But yeah, so like now
he has a name, Michael Horse.
Yes,
right.
Michael Horse. But yeah,
a horse is a horse, of course.
And he was very high build in this movie, and
was he?
Yeah, he was like fourth build or something.
But again, I mean, it's one of those things where they put the billing maybe before the edit has been finalized and like stuff has been cut out, blah, blah, blah. So Harrison Ford and Buck gets him off the booze. He like gives him a look, and then he looks over
and he
at
sits
the shelf
on the bottle too,
and sees the picture of Harrison Ford's child, and puts two and together. He's so smart.
He puts it all together. Yeah,
and he's like, "Hey, you don't need to drink," and like knocks the knocks the bottle.
It's very cute, but it's too anthropomorphic.
It's
They've
like, what the hell
really
is happening?
anthropomorphized Buck.
Yeah.
It's something that you would see in an animated movie, you know?
But then they go, so he decides, okay, we're going to go on like an adventure because my son always wanted to go off the map.
It's very sweet. He wants to go where his son always wanted to go, who I think they said he had like diphtheria or something. He died of a fever in 2 days. So he was like a little kid.
Back in those days, he'd die of anything.
Yeah. But yeah, so, and then there's kind of a fun montage of them like traveling up the Yukon.
Yeah, really nice, beautiful like scenery.
Rivers and gorgeous like photography that what is CG, what is stock, who knows? But it looks like an Apple background. So
yeah, it looks really nice. Oh,
and
sorry,
then,
I'm yawning. I gotta stop myself from yawning.
Yeah. But what's funny is they end up finding a random abandoned cabin, and I'm like, okay, why is this abandoned?
Well, it's like an old
who was in there?
Evil Dead.
Yeah,
basically.
Yeah. I'm like, is there an evil witch in here? Is there a demon in here? Is there skeletons in here? Because there's there's prospector gold stuff and because like
it's like
gold pans.
Like
someone
and
should make
stuff.
a movie where it's like Harrison Ford gets possessed by a demon and Buck has to then defend himself, finally justifying why he's CGI.
Yeah, and then
That would be great.
Buck has to speak though.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so he's like,
I command you to hell, devil.
wait, have you guys seen the new Mission Impossible yet?
No, not yet. Not yet.
There's when you see it, just keep an eye. You know the famous line in Evil Dead 2 where he's like, tool shed, and they like dubbed it in as exposition. There's a moment like that in the new Mission Impossible.
Okay.
Keep your eyes peeled.
Okay.
We gotta go see that this week. But yeah, so
All 7 hours
again, why is this cabin abandoned? Especially when we find out
It's just
the pond is
I don't think it
full
matters
of
that
gold.
much.
Yeah, it doesn't matter that much, but prospectors would build cabins, like next to streams, blah blah blah.
Yeah, but
they would
the
either
gold
die
was
or
there.
move on.
The gold was there.
It's
the gold
treasure of Sierra Madre situation. They all killed themselves off because they had gold fever.
Yeah, maybe
That's
they
what
didn't
I'm
want
thinking.
So I don't know, whatever. But yeah, the river is like
It's full of Buck pulls
lousy
one out
with
that's like
gold.
as big as the
Like,
diamond
he
from
literally
Blood
puts
Diamond.
his hand in, and there's like gold everywhere.
Yeah. And
so.
it's kind of cute how Harrison Ford's like, oh, maybe I'll build a railroad. And then like a couple scenes later, he's just like, nah, I'm just going to get enough for groceries for life, which is very sweet.
Groceries for life, that's all a man ever needs. And he
But for me, if I just found a bunch of gold, I'd be like, I will be taking all of this gold, please. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll be the richest man in the world, and it'll go to my head.
What I was saying was like, this is very, very dangerous. And I read like a book recently that took place around this time. And like, if you have gold or you know where gold is or anything like that, you will be murdered because everyone will find you. And that's what happens.
Yeah,
Dan Stevens is convinced that Harrison Ford knows where the gold is, which is not true. He just happened to stumble upon it. But needless to say, he's coming to get him.
Is this the place that he's talking about? Is this the place that he's been looking for, Dan Stevens?
No, I don't think Dan Stevens knows any particular place. I think that he just heard that maybe there was gold in the Yukon and he's just looking for anything, like anyone who's got a lead. And he just got it in his head that Harrison Ford is suspicious.
Yeah, because like Harrison Ford wants to go to this like off the map place just because his son wanted to go there. But he's like, he must know where the gold is.
And also, he hates Buck and he wants to kill Buck.
And also... there is gold there, so he was kind of right.
There is gold there, but this is all beside the point. The real story is Buck becomes the main character in Avatar.
Yeah, he like meets this like pack of wolves and falls in love with this white wolf.
Timberwolf.
A Timberwolf.
As Harrison Ford said.
He goes, Timberwolf. He goes, beautiful.
Timberwolf.
Yeah, I'd tap that. Oh, amen, Harrison Ford.
I will say the animation on this Timberwolf spectacular because they don't give it cartoony expressions.
No. All those animals look beautiful.
It looks real.
But they even have like a home tree, like an Avatar.
They have a tree. There's even like flickering, like floating, like fireflies, lights. Yeah. It's and then there's this narration of like, Buck finally found his people. He was among his ancestors from the forest.
Yeah.
Please remember, I'm actually dead when I'm saying this. So
Yeah.
I said, Jesus, I'll be back. I just gotta finish this one thing.
This lady wolf teaches him how to hunt. There's one point later where he's able to
He saves one of the wolves, remember, from the rapids?
Yeah, by
lifting a whole tree.
Which, if you go back and watch that scene, it doesn't make any sense physics-wise, but whatever. I mean, he's better. He's Superman.
April's cinema sitting this movie like crazy.
I
like,
know.
where'd the cabin come from?
I know.
He
He's
can't lift the
Superman.
tree.
He's Superman. But yeah, like
he gets in good with these like wolves.
It's
and
kind
stuff.
of like, I haven't seen it, but is this like what that Pierce Brosnan movie is like, where he
Grey Owl?
Yeah.
The one where like Tom Green.
Is he
Tom Green.
the dog in the movie? or-
I'm just saying, doesn't he meet like a native tribe and like they teach him to become one of them?
You're thinking of Dances with Wolves.
Oh, sorry, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Sorry.
Grey Owl, the plot is
What's the plot
Pierce
of that?
Brosnan has been pretending to be indigenous, and he gets
Oh,
found
God.
out that he's just a white guy. And the film, I'm not even kidding, ends with him being like, "Is that so wrong?" And basically giving a speech,
And the
everyone
film is
applauds.
like, no.
All I remember is Tom Green pranking him. There was like a press day where you could ask Pierce Brosnan questions and stuff, and Tom Green showed up and just kept like annoying him.
Well,
During
great.
Grey Owl.
And during the Grey Owl press like really tour or whatever, and the like people had to like pull him like out of there.
That was a fully Canadian movie, right? Like,
No. Richard Attenborough directed that.
oh, okay, never mind. But anyway, I assumed that Dances with Wolves type thing that's what's happening to Buck.
Sure, yeah.
In this scenario, and he's accepted, but as Justin said earlier, Harrison Ford is like, go wherever you want during the day, just come home when the sun sets.
I was very sad when like Harrison Ford is there with like his stew and like, you know, Buck doesn't come home.
And then he turns to the alcohol again.
Turns to the booze. He's like, see what happens when you're away, Buck.
Yeah.
It's like guilting him.
where were you? Where were you?
So I'm saying, it's like he's his like either boyfriend or wife or best friend, and then he gets ditched for another woman.
I know. It made me feel sad. And it's just like you
And Buck felt sad too.
I know he did because he's a cartoon.
Yeah.
And he did the and then you know
What I like about you.
don't. No, it's like wild thing. Call of the wild.
But yeah,
thing.
because Buck was out with his new Wolfie friends, he doesn't get there in time to save Harrison Ford from being shot by
Dan Stevens.
By the way, we didn't mention Dan Stevens has a lovely dastardly mustache and
He looks like Dick Dastardly.
a plaid suit.
Yeah, but okay, first of all,
But also, like, who is he? I don't know.
he seems like such a dork. He has no idea how to like even get a sled going,
No.
right? In the first scene that we see him in, Harrison Ford is helping him. How the hell did he track them all to this like
He just
on
shows
his-
Been wandering for years.
First of all,
you're right.
like,
He just shows up.
on his own, he has no food, no pack, no
That's
nothing.
a good point. Like, he doesn't even have a mode of transportation.
He would die in the wilderness after like a day.
I never even thought of that.
Yeah.
But no, he just shows up.
He just shows up. Like, Harrison Ford's like lantern falls. The whole like cabin gets set on fire.
He shoots him and he's like, where's the gold? And he's like, it's right here. It's
Voice to his
everywhere.
heart.
Yeah. No, he should have done that. No, he pulls it out of his pocket, but like it's everywhere. But then like Buck shows up. They have a little scuffle.
Does the best move I've ever seen a dog do.
I mean, I will say Harrison Ford actually accidentally set his own cabin on fire beforehand, not related to Dan Stevens.
No, I thought I got shot. I thought Dan Stevens
he
fired
gets
the gun.
Yeah, he shoots at him.
Oh, does he?
And then,
he knocks over like his lamp. or
yeah, he
something.
wasn't like a clumsy drunk.
No,
He wasn't like, whoa.
I thought
what are the
He
chances?
goes to go outside with the lantern, and then Dan Stevens shoots at him.
Yeah.
Right at the
Okay.
doorway, and he's like, "Whoa!" And then he like drops the lantern.
Yeah.
So Buck like tackles him and carries him like some like NFL like quarterback, like
and like
for,
throws
like 40
him.
feet, and then throws him into this burning house that collapses.
And then
on
it
him.
collapses as soon as he
Oh,
gets
it's
thrown into
amazing.
it. So the man was burned to death and crushed by logs.
There you go. He deserved
Burning
it for
logs,
the 3 minutes he was on screen. So then, yeah, he consoles Harrison Ford,
And then we
Harrison
get
Ford-
death scene,
he goes-
he's slowly dying.
He goes, "Buck, you're home."
He also says, "You're a good dog." The classic line of any dog movie. You're a good boy.
Good dog. That was good.
Doesn't he go, "You're home now"?
Yeah, he
Yeah.
goes, "You're home."
And
So
then, yeah.
He says a lot of stuff before
He does. And then he continues narrating.
Even after.
Even though he's
After
dead.
he dies, you may think I'm dead, but I'm not.
Yeah,
Or am
still
I?
got a few minutes
Well,
left.
then he's like, he finally heard.
The call.
The call. Cut to Call of the Wild. Like, that's odd to me because it's like the movie's not called The Call. It should just be he finally heard, then cut to the thing.
No, he
The
heard
Call
the
of the Wild.
call.
What if he was like, he heard the call, and then Harrison Ford goes, "Ow!"
Yeah.
He's a werewolf.
So yeah, it shows like it shows
So,
like
Buck
Buck
turns into a man at the end.
yeah, it shows
That would be
Buck.
wild.
It shows Buck like having like a family with like this wolf now.
Oh,
he's
yeah.
got, like
Yeah.
he's got like
Now
half.
we all looked it up. Can dogs
Okay.
and wolves procreate?
Colin
it?
said that.
I'm like, is that possible?
they can.
Yes, it is.
Yes, they can.
Okay.
They can.
But yeah, there's cute little wolf dog hybrids.
Yeah, they're really kinda
And then
cute.
Harrison Ford even says like he created like a new breed of animal. Some super.
But he's like,
this is
could
real
be a
eu-
legend. That was the
There's
legend.
real eugenics happening.
He's like,
right
I don't know what the hell is happening.
And then like Buck like stares down like a grizzly bear
Who
the
never
end.
did anything to him.
No, he's just like
He was
Grizzly
just
bear-
living his life.
Yeah, and
Grizzly
Buck's like,
bears-
I'm going to show. Buck's already mad with power.
No, Buck's or he's like, I'm gonna show you up in front of my family.
Buck
Yeah.
I'm
Buck
gonna
has
embarrass you.
become the king of the forest. He has become a dog Jesus. He is like
No,
the
if he was a dog
greatest-
Jesus, he would be like crucified at the end.
I guess so, but we never mentioned Buck has visions of like
Oh,
a
yeah, a
black
wolf.
wolf god
Yeah,
thing.
it's the wolf from Puss in Boots like 2.
So,
I was-
the one that panic attack wolf.
I was gonna say, like, isn't this like a character in that God of War? That you no,
Oh, probably.
Maybe.
maybe
Or like 300 or something.
yeah, I get. Yeah, I feel like this is like a thing, but like, and it's nothing but like a wolf with like
Glowing
red eyes, and it just goes ooh, and it just like,
It's like
he just
a-
sees it. He's just
That's
hallucinating.
the call. His name is Call.
The call of the wild. So anyway, that's the movie. So I already said my favorite thing, which was the wrestling scene in front of the Aurora Borealis. Do you guys have a favorite thing, aspect, or I mean, Harrison Ford's not bad.
Sure, I love the. You know what? I love the cinematography, which is shocking to say because I usually don't like the cinematographer, but everything
Janusz?
looked gorgeous and like vivid and lush and beautiful and green, and
Colorful,
I kind of loved
nice.
it. Yeah, I liked it.
I liked the work in the old town. I had a name in it. I forget what it was called, but they kind of created a set. In
Old
a little,
Town.
a little town.
I liked it when they sang "What I Like About You" at the end of the movie.
And that didn't
They all
happen. Didn't
No,
happen.
my favorite thing is Harrison Ford narrating from heaven or hell.
Yeah,
Could be. We don't know what he
You
did in his
He
life.
didn't know. You don't know how his kid died.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's probably wait till he killed his kid.
I don't know. You don't know.
He feels really bad about it.
Yeah, he's
I'm
like,
sure the narration is like the narration from the novel, but it's just weird
Yeah.
that Harrison Ford, who would have been a better voice, like should have been like, "Hey, it's me, Buck, narrating."
That'd be great. No,
Would have
it's-
been weirder if it was like, and then I went here and then I went there, because that's what Black Beauty is.
Yeah.
And it kind of works in
Did
that
you
in
get
that sense.
Alan Cumming back?
Yeah, absolutely. He's got a great voice. Oh no. I mean, he sounds a little too gay to be Buck.
Ooh, ouch, ouch.
And I'm not saying it's a bad thing because I absolutely love Alan Cumming's voice. But
All right, let's
but,
get someone a little bit more manly. How about he hadn't passed away at that
No, I'm
point. I
saying,
don't think. Paul Rubens could do the voice. of Buck.
absolutely. Totally
Sam
agree.
Elliott.
Yeah, he was saying Sam Elliott. But yeah,
I mean,
Buck,
Sam Elliott already voiced a dog, and they sang "What I Like About You."
Oh
He
God,
was in Marmaduke.
He was. He was the dog that's like, "What I Like About You," and they're like, "Oh," in the middle of the song.
But no, I mean, honestly, if they got a narration in 2020, it probably would have been like Chris Pratt or someone
The Rock.
terrible like that.
Oh, The
Yeah,
Rock.
The Rock, yeah.
No, Hulk Hogan.
Hey, brother.
Yeah.
Hey, brother, it's me,
Brother.
Buck.
I was right out there in the Yukon, brother.
Or,
too
you
much
know,
sushi.
Owen Wilson, you know.
Doesn't Owen Wilson? What? Oh,
He was
voiced
Marmaduke.
No, he was in My Dog Skip. That was another Dog Days movie. Owen Wilson.
Oh, was he?
I think
well,
so.
Frankie Muniz was the human in that. I remember.
Okay. All I remember was I was watching it on a plane.
Yeah.
I was
Marley
watching
and
it.
Me.
I watched it on a plane. Oh, was it Marley and Me?
Yeah, Marley and Me.
Oh, yeah.
Remember
That's Owen
I
Wilson.
was confused that with Me, You, and Dupree.
Wait. Okay. So, which does the dog die at the end?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. All I remember we were watching that on a plane to LA, and everybody on the plane was bawling their eyes
Yeah,
out.
I actually.
You probably watched
yeah.
My Dog Skip then. That's from 2000.
Oh, okay.
But Marley and Me
yes.
is much later, but also Dog Days.
Yeah.
The
Okay.
dog dies,
That would have been 2000. Yeah, you're right.
There's also a movie that I think I actually saw in theaters as a kid called Fluke. Do you guys remember that?
No.
It was about, I believe, a kid whose dad dies and then comes back as their dog.
That sounds like
Not-
Cop Dog.
No, it's not Cop Dog, I swear. It's called
Not
Fluke.
to be confused with the one where Gary Busey dies and comes back as a dog.
No, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, God.
What's that called? I have that on my.
Kuczynski?
No. It's like the little white dog.
Oh,
He's like, I'm a dog.
Forget, yeah. Oz
Wait.
Perkins is in that movie.
oh God.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, right.
I forget
yeah, I
what
know
it's
the one.
called.
Have you guys ever seen Bingo? That's my favorite dog movie.
No, but I know of
You know the
it.
cover of him with sunglasses on the cover?
Exactly, yeah.
They all
That
have
movie
sunglasses.
rules. He like stops a bank robbery, but then they bring him to court, and he gets convicted and has to go to jail.
Oh my God.
So funny.
It's very silly.
They have jog
but very
jail?
good.
But anyway,
No, human jail.
let's wrap this up. So, I actually would recommend Call of the Wild, but like it's not a bad time.
It's
but
much
obviously
better than I thought.
You got to be in the mood for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, thankfully it's not too long. An hour 40. It goes by pretty fast.
That's pretty long.
Even though it feels like stuff was cut out. But I would say, yeah, check it out for the good cinematography and I would say overall good animation, but keep in mind that
It doesn't look real.
no,
it's
it does
very
not.
uncanny.
It doesn't look real. So yeah, thank you for joining us. If you want to email the podcast, we're at nosuchthingasabadmovie@gmail.com, and we're on Twitter and Instagram and Bluesky at nosuchthingpod. Check us out on Patreon, patreon.com/nosuchthingasabadmovie. If you subscribe at the $5 level, you get a little bonus episode every 2 weeks. We just recorded an episode where we talk about the entire Final Destination.
You were going to say Fast and the Furious.
I think it was, yeah. Final Destination franchise in celebration of the new movie coming out. And yeah, it's great. And we take questions from the audience as well. Lots of great content on there. And if you want to find me, I'm on Bluesky and Instagram at April Atmansky.
You can find me on all the social medias, Justin Decloux, DECLOUX. I also have the Important Cinema Club podcast every week. And keep your eyes peeled because I'm doing my annual summer movie mind melter in the next 2-3 weeks. So
Looking
check
forward
my
to it.
socials for the date and
Excellent.
time.
I'm the same. I'm on all the socials. Sergeant Zima, SGTZIMA.
Thanks for joining us. I'm looking forward to more dog movies, you guys. Let's do it.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am. Maybe.
We need to make April cry watching like an Air Bud movie.
They're
Yeah.
going to be
Will it happen? We'll see.
howlers.
We'll see.
Yeah, I'm a dog. And you'll see more appearances from me.
Oh my
Colin
God.
the talking dog.
Has Jim Belushi ever done a dog voice in a movie?
Absolutely.
I feel like he must.
feel like
He has a
must
whole
have.
series. Remember K9?
Yeah,
The Jim Belushi cop movie?
He was a
Yeah,
human.
but he didn't
though.
voice the dog.
No.
I mean, he's got a voice for a dog.
Let me look. Voiced. Dog.
Jim Belushi, dog.
Jim Belushi, his brother. Blah, 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 blah.
His
Oh, wait. He
brother-
does the voice of Demon in Snow Dogs 2002.
There you go.
Oh my God. Okay.
Well,
Snow Dogs might be on the menu.
we'll
boys.
see.
Did they
But
talk
we'll see.
throughout Snow Dogs?
I'm
Was
pretty
it-
sure.
Okay.
Oh God.
And-
Well.
Wow, it's not CGI. They do it through a puppet in Snow Dogs.
That might be
Oof.
even worse.
Well, I'm glad I could class this joint up a bit for the first
Okay.
one. All right. Well, thanks for joining us. I'll see you next week. Ruff.
Colin.
I'm April Atmansky.
I'm Dustin Close.
Colin Cunningham.
And remember, there's no such thing as a bad movie.